Hey guys and girls, King Lear here from Proceed to Checkpoint, and welcome back to my Let's Make a Pokemon game series. So it's been a long hiatus. As I said, this is a side project I do from time to time, and I'm only really trying to learn. So I can't guarantee episodes with any regularity. But as I get through it and as I complete bits and pieces of my Fire Red clone, I will take you through what I've learned. So what we're going to cover off this episode is doing the intro to the game. What I want to show you first of all is the intro that I'm going to be creating. So I've done this off camera. I've set up my own intro, and now I'm going to show you how I did it and what it looks like. So I'll give you a look at the final result and what we plan to have, and then you'll see as we go through exactly what we are creating. So let's test our game here. Okay, so some of the fonts aren't there. Okay, we'll ignore that for now. I'll go back and install the fonts soon. So we want to create a new game, and then this is the intro. Okay, so that was the intro. Very similar to the intro from Pokemon Red, if you remember. So that is what we're going to be creating today. So I just want to quit out of this and show you how we go about setting that up. Now, I have created 3 maps in preparation. The first map is just a blank map. The second map is Pallet Town itself, which obviously we're going to need at some point. And the third map is the interior of Pallet Town, so the inside of all of the buildings. Now, what I've done is I have created each one separately on the same map. So all of these buildings are on the same map, but there's enough distance between them that when you're at the corner of one building, you can't see into the other one. The first thing we want to do is we want to set the player's starting position on this blank map. And then we want to create a new event somewhere on this map. And we want to call this event something, so let's call it intro. Now this event should be an auto run event. So this event will run whenever the player is in this map. So basically, because our starting position is here, when we start the game, we will start on this map, and we have this event set to auto run. So it will run straight away as soon as we start on this map. Into the event itself, I'm going to go through it section by section and explain as I do it what I am doing. So the first thing we want to do is we want to set the text. We want to change the text options. It's been a while since I've done this, so you will have to bear with me ever so slightly until I find the options. Change text options. Okay. And we want the text box to be at the bottom of the screen. And we want to show the window that the text box has. So that's the first thing we need to do. The next thing we need to do is we want to play background music, which is play background music. and we want to play the begin music, because that is the intro music. Full volume, everything like that. We don't want to change the volume or pitch. The next thing we want to do is we want to show a picture. The picture we want to show is the intro background. So that is there. We want to set to the upper left, and we want to set to 0, 0. Opacity, standard, normal blending, and standard zoom. So this picture is designed that it sits properly with the upper left set to 0, 0. So we want to do that. The next thing we want to do is we want to wait. So where's the wait command? And we want to wait 18 frames. I've already tested all of this out, so I know what the appropriate wait time is. There is a bit of trial and error with wait times in terms of changing them so that it waits the right amount of time. The next thing I want to do is I want to show another picture. So that is show picture. And the picture I want to show is the intro base, which is the base that Professor Oak is going to stand on. Now, we want that to be picture 2, because we already have picture 1, which is the background. We want this one in the center, and we want Y set to 256 and X set to 256 as well. Everything else we want normal, but we want the opacity to be 0 for this one. The next thing we want to do is very similar again. Show a picture, but this time we want to look for intro Oak, which is this guy. We want it to 256 and 172. Again, I've worked out the positions of these because of how I know it should sit. We want the opacity to 0 again. So there we go. So that's picture 2 and picture 3. The next thing we want to do is we want to move these pictures. So we want it to take 15 frames to move these. And we want to move picture 2. We want to keep it in the exact same position, so 256, 256. But this time we want to set the opacity to 255. We want to do the same thing again with picture 3. So 15 frames, center, 256 and 172. Opacity 255. So there we go. Next thing we want to do is put in a wait command again of 18 frames. And I will go back over and explain what this is doing after I show you. I just want to fill this stuff in now. So the next thing we want to do is we want to show text. And we want to do a / and B, which is going to make the text blue because Professor Oak is a man. I'm going to want him talking in blue text. So we want him to say, hello there. We want to use / N, which will create a new line of text. Glad to meet you. We want a new line of text now. And we want him to say, welcome to the world of Pokemon. And that's how it's always typed in the games. My name is Oak. Because that is, of course, his name. People affectionately... Oh, whoa, that was pretty poor. People affectionately refer to me as the Pokemon Professor. There we go. So people affectionately refer to him as the Pokemon Professor. This world. And now here's where some more crazy stuff starts to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this up and I'm going to show you what we've done so far. So if we play test this now. Yeah, game fonts do not exist. I am aware of this at this point. So we start a new game. There's the background. There's the images. Hello there, glad to meet you. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name is Oak. People affectionately refer to me as the Pokemon Professor. This world. And that's as far as we've gotten, so it's just going to loop itself again. Now, if we look at the event, what we've done is we've set the text options to be at the bottom of the screen and to show the text box. We've set the background music to begin playing. We put in the background, the intro background there. Then we pause for 18 frames. We then put in the base that Professor Oak is standing on and the image of Professor Oak himself. We put them into position, but we have the opacity set to 0, so they're invisible. We then change the opacity over 15 frames from invisible to completely visible. That gives him the effect over 15 frames of him fading in, because the picture is going from invisible to visible and it takes 15 frames. So we're fading in the picture of Professor Oak and the base that he's standing on as well. We then pause for another 18 frames and then we have the text here. So again, the /B in the text is turning his text to blue. The /N is creating a new line. So now that's his intro spiel. The next thing we need to do is we insert a wait of 10 frames. We show a picture. This is going to be picture 4. And the picture that we need to show is ball 00. So this is a pokeball. Now the position of this one is upper left 200 and 145. And we want to make this invisible. The next thing we want to do is we want to move that picture. And over 15 frames, exactly the same position, we want to make it visible again. So again, this is going to give the ball the illusion, or not the illusion, this will make the ball fade in. The next thing we need to do after the ball fades in, set a wait of 15 frames, that's an appropriate pause, and we want to insert a screen flash. So screen flash right here. We want it to be white, so we want all the colors set to 255. And we want the frames to last 30 seconds. So the screen flash is going to last 30 seconds. Now we want to erase picture 4, which is the Pokeball. So we want to get rid of the Pokeball. And we want to show a new picture 4, which will be, instead of the Pokeball, will be the open version of the Pokeball. And again, we want this set to the same location. So we want this set to 200 and 145, the exact same place. This one we don't want to fade in. So we just want this one normal. And sorry, that should be picture 4 because we already have a picture 3. Picture 3 is Professor Oak. So there we go. The next thing we want to do, once that is done, is... Actually, bear with me a second. So we want to wait 15 frames. We don't want the screen flash in here yet. So we want to show the ball. We want to set the ball to be visible. We want to wait 15 frames. We want to erase the ball. We want to show the open version of the ball. We want to wait 10 frames. And now we want the screen flash. Same story, 30 frame screen flash. I just had it in the wrong place. So once that's done, we want to erase the picture of the Pokeball again. And we want to show a new picture. We want a new picture 4. And we want the intro Nidoking. Or Nidoran even. So we want to show him. We want him put off by the center. We want him in 190 to 145. And we want his opacity to be 0. Now what we want to do is we want to move him over a space of 10 frames to 230 by 230. And we want to set his opacity to normal. We then want to wait 20 frames. And we then want to play a sound effect, which will be Cry05. Let's see. Cry05. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to wait 10 frames. And now I'm going to go through and show you exactly what we've just done. So if we test this again, we should see what has changed. Now play testing, please do. Okay, I'm going to have to copy in those fonts because this is getting annoying. New game. So here's the part that we did previously. This world. Pokeball fades in. There we go. So what that is doing... So this... Last time we got as far as this world. So we are waiting 10 frames. We're putting in a Pokeball into Professor Oak's hand. We're fading in the Pokeball over 15 frames. We're then pausing for 15 frames. We're getting rid of the Pokeball and instantly replacing it with a picture of an open Pokeball. We're then waiting 10 frames. We're making the screen flash. While the screen is flashing, we're erasing the Pokeball. We're putting in a Nidoran. And then we're moving the Nidoran to Professor Oak's feet and fading it in at the same time. We then wait 20 frames and we play the sound effect then. And then we wait 10 frames. So it might be a little easier to see what is going on now that I've explained it. It's very hard when it's like in full speed to talk through. But essentially, that's what is going on there. So again, we'll go as far as the normal part. Pokeball fades in, opens, flash, Nidoran spawns in here and then moves while fading into the position at the professor's feet. So that's what that does so far. Next step then is to continue the professor's text. So we want to insert some more text. We want to say is inhabited far and wide by creatures called Pokemon. Okay. For some people, Pokemon are pets. Others use them for battling. It's giving us a right education here. As for myself, ... I study Pokemon as a profession. Now we want to wait 5 frames. And now we're going to get rid of the Pokemon that was there. So the next thing we want to do is we want to show a picture 5. We want the Pokeball back. And we want it in his hand again. So 200 and 145. We then want to wait 10 frames. Then we want to get rid of the picture of the Pokeball. So we want to erase picture 5. And immediately we want to show the open ball. So the closed ball appears, we wait 10 frames, and then we switch it to the open ball then. And this should be 200, 145 once again. Not 145.9. So we get rid of the closed ball, immediately put in the picture of the open ball. Now we want to move the picture of the Nidoran over 10 frames back to the position of the Pokeball, so it looks like he's going into it. 190 to 145. Opacity should be normal. Wait 10 frames. Now once again we want to move picture 5. 200, 145 over 10 frames. We want to make it invisible. Sorry, I have lost my place. So we showed the open ball. We wait 10 frames. We then get rid of the closed ball. We show the open ball. We show the picture of the Nidoran. We move the picture of the Nidoran. We wait 10 frames. We then want to move the picture of the Nidoran. I got ahead of myself there. 190 by 145, and we want to make it invisible. And that takes place over 10 frames. Cool. While that's happening, screen flash, 245 over 30 frames. Boom. And then we want to erase picture 4. We then want to wait 20 frames. So I got a bit confused there, but I'll talk you through this step by step again. So what we are doing after he says, I study Pokemon as a profession, we wait 5 frames. We put the closed Pokeball in Professor Oak's hands. We wait 10 frames. We then get rid of the picture of the closed Pokeball, change it to a picture of an open Pokeball in the exact same position. We then move the picture of the Nidoran up to Professor Oak's hand, so up in the direction of the Pokeball. We then wait 10 frames and we fade out the picture of the Nidoran. While this is happening, the screen is flashing. We then get rid of the picture of the Pokeball and we wait 20 frames. So with that in mind, let's have a look at what we've done so far again. These fonts. These fonts are not in use. Yeah. Look at the game's text will not be optimal. I know. So, new game. So last time we got as far as him saying I study Pokemon as a profession. So let's go. There we go. For some people, Pokemon are pets. Others use them for battling. As for myself, I study Pokemon as a profession. Now, there we go. So something went wrong there. We didn't... Okay, so we get rid of picture 4. We wait 20 frames. We then fade out picture 5 over 10 frames. (200 by 145). So we fade that out over 10 frames. And then we erase it. So that's the pokeball. That's what went wrong. The pokeball didn't fade out. So now, after it waits 20 frames, the pokeball should fade out over 10 frames and then it should disappear. So let's have a look. Now, fingers crossed, this time the pokeball would disappear. The world of Pokemon. My name is Oak. People affectionately refer to me as the Pokemon Professor. This world, boom, there's a Pokemon. Okay, so now, there we go, and the Pokeball disappears. Bingo. So that's what we've done so far. Next step then is to wait 15 frames, and here's where things start to get no, actually we don't wait 15 frames yet. Here's where things start to get complicated. So, but first, tell me a little about yourself. Now tell me, are you a boy, new line, or are you a girl? So now he's going to ask if we're a boy or a girl. We need to wait 5 frames. And then we need to move picture 2 over 10 frames, 256, 256, to opacity 0. And we need to do the exact same thing with picture 3 as well, over 10 frames, 256, 172, to opacity 0. We then need to wait 10 frames, and we need to erase picture 3. So, what are we doing here? Let's wait 15 frames. So what we are doing here is we are making picture 2 and picture 3 invisible. Picture 2 and picture 3 are the base and Professor Oak as well. So we're making those two invisible at this point. We're then getting rid of the picture of Professor Oak completely, and then we're waiting 15 frames. Now, why are we doing that, you might ask? Let's see. Are you a boy or a girl? So there's Professor Oak's question, and now we need to show multiple choices. The choices we're going to have are boy and girl. And you can't cancel out of this choice. There's no way to get out of it. So now, boy or girl. They're the two choices here. So let's have a look and see what that looks like. New game. So I'm just going to skip through. There we go. Now, Tell me a little bit more about yourself. Now tell me, are you a boy or are you a girl? So he fades out, and then it gives us the option to choose between boy and girl. Now these won't do anything yet because we haven't set them up to do anything, but you can see what that looks like and that it gives you the options there. Now what we need to do is to set up the statements here. So we want to make a comment. So this PB change player. Oh, sorry, I don't need a comment. That's my own comment from the code. So what we want to do now is we want to run a script. Script. And we want to run PB change player with the input of 0. That will make the player a male. The PB change player script came with Pokemon Essentials, so it's something that comes included. When they pick a girl, we want to run PB change player 1. That'll set the character to a girl. When they pick boy, we also want to show a picture. The picture we want to show should be picture 3, so it's replacing Professor Oak, and it should be intro boy. We want to centered, we want to add 256, 178. We want the opacity to 0. And we want to do a similar thing for the girl then. So we want to show a picture. Now if they pick the girl, picture 3 should be intro girl. And again, same position. They should be at 256 and 178, and they should be invisible. There we go. What else do we need to do here? We need to set a variable. So we want to set a control variable. The control variable that we want to set is number 27, which I have already created, as gender. And we want to set gender to 0. If they pick a girl, we want to set the variable gender to 1. Why are we doing this, do you ask? This is so that if we need to refer to the player's gender at any point in the game at a later stage, we can do so with that variable. So, next thing we need to do. Now, I don't need any other options here because they have to pick from boy or they have to pick from girl. When they do, picture 3 changes to the boy and picture 3 changes to the girl if they pick the girl. We also use the script to set change player to 0 or to 1 depending on whether or not they chose a boy or girl. And that's the end of the branch there now. So the next thing we need to do, now that the branch is over, is we need to move picture 2 over 10 frames to fade it back in again. So we want to fade back in the picture of the base. And now picture 3, which again is the picture of the boy or the girl, we want to fade that in as well. So we want to just keep it in the same position and change its opacity to 255. We then want to wait 10 frames, and we want to say let's begin with your name. What is this? Now let's test that out and see what that looks like. New game. Hello there, glad to meet you. Welcome to the world of Pokemon. My name's Oak, Pokemon Professor. This world, boom, is inhabited far and wide by creatures called Pokemon. Okay. Now, tell me a little about yourself. Now tell me, are you a boy or are you a girl? So Professor Oak fades out. We say, well, actually, I'm a boy. It fades in the picture of the boy, and then it asks for our name. Likewise, if we picked girl, it would fade in a picture of a girl and ask for our name at that point then. Hey guys and girls, this video, with everything in it, went on a lot longer than I'd intended, so I've had to split this into 2 parts. My apologies about that. So this first video has covered kind of setting the scene, setting the stage, getting the Pokemon out of his Pokeball, fading in Professor Oak, introducing the player, and letting the player pick their gender. The next episode will cover letting the player choose their name, setting up the rival, and in addition to that, getting the player actually into the game and closing off the intro sequence then. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, tomorrow's episode might answer them. But if not, just drop a comment. I'm always happy to help anyway. Hit that subscribe button if you want to keep an eye on more of these videos coming out, because I will be putting them out as I make progress and as I go through making my clone. Some people are asking, why am I just doing a copy of Fire Red rather than an original game? And to be honest, I'm doing it so I have a reference point and something to teach me. I have never made a game in this before. This is all brand new to me. So the best way for me to learn is to copy something existing already and learn how to do that. Once I know how to do that, then I can branch out and do my own thing then. So that's why I'm doing this. So yeah, drop a comment if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next episode. Thanks, guys.